and Chew State like we did last time. It's
That's
great
right.
playing a Power Five school in a meaningful game. And look, we all want to kick off with an easy one with Charleston Chew University, but now we got a real one, and it's time to get going, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. It's exciting. I love the neutral court playing in an NBA arena. It feels different. The buzz is different. Maybe some scouts are around. A lot of more parents can be at the games, right? And it's a good vacation for parents if they can get there. And you're playing an SEC team, right? It's fun, man. We've had trouble with them under Coach Bennett. As you know, we were 1-0 against Florida in the NIT at Madison Square Garden. So historically we do really well against Florida on neutral court. Actually, we can't say that. We lost two on neutral courts. Anyhow, it's exciting. You can tell I'm excited.
Yeah, I sort of feel like we owe them. I feel like we owe them a beatdown for a couple reasons. One is I think it was 2012. They smacked us in the NCAA tournament, right? You
Yep.
remember that one? And then their head coach Todd Golden came up with that big upset in MSG against a great UVA team that ended up not going that far because of Ben Vanderplas. But think about the players on that team. So I feel like we owe Florida, and we need to kind of get into them. Have you done any research on Florida? What are you thinking?
I know, again, Todd Golden, we know he's an analytics guy.
Yeah.
I think he had a lot of transfers. We know they're going to not let us shoot threes, try not to let us shoot threes, and we were 10 for 22 our first game, which is a strong outing, right? They have a phenom freshman. I think he's like a 6'6" combo guard, Kruger. One of
Yeah,
the
really
one of
good.
the smoothest kids I've seen as a first year in a long time. Jen, what's
Yeah,
up? So
he's a
you're gonna
sophomore.
know him
He's
better
a
than me.
sophomore.
Oh, I thought he was younger. Okay, I thought he was a one and done type.
Yeah, no, he let's see, he's from Orlando, Florida. Let's get into Florida a little bit. They're 1-0. They beat Loyola Maryland 93-73. Kind of a similar game that we had where they played pretty well, but Todd Golden not happy. Oh, there's T Dub in the house. T Dub was there. He's in the arena. T Dub, can you hear us?
I think it's T Dub and Forrest. Is Forrest wearing Florida or is he wearing UVA?
I don't
He's
know.
a
It's a tough one for
Florida
him.
family.
We will get to him. But yeah, they had a good game. Loyola Maryland, 20-point win. There we go. T Dub giving us some live in-game or pregame footage. He's got good seats, which doesn't surprise any of us. Looks like they're getting ready, doing some shooting. Look, I did a lot of research on Florida. There's a lot to talk about. First of all, they're much improved, right? Todd Golden came in last year. They were 16-17, eighth in the SEC. It was his first year at a Power Five school as a head coach coming from San Francisco. He kind of had to play with what he had. He has improved this roster dramatically, very similar to how we have. They've added a lot of shooters, but they've also added a big guy who could pose an issue for us. He's sort of he's got a little Serge Zwicker vibe to him, Fresh, to bring it back to our era. But his name is Micah Handlockton. He's a Marshall transfer. He's 7'1". Incidentally,
Yep.
Handlockton in Finnish translates to feet of stone. Very, very slow on the perimeter, but a big guy, very good offensive rebounder. He played a lot and dominated at Marshall. He's going to be a tough guy on the offensive boards. He's a traditional big. He's a 5. I think Virginia's going to put him in a lot of pick and roll situations because he is not good, comfortable, or proficient the farther he gets away from the basket.
Right.
They got the guy you mentioned, Riley Kugel. This guy is an NBA athlete, okay? He was all SEC freshman team, averaged about 10 points last year. He had 23 in their first game, really attacks the rim, but shoots it pretty well. He is 38. Oh, look at them. We got the posse in the house. Ty and Camilla making an appearance, locker room access, first time. Ty is throwing gang signs for some unknown reason.
All right, go.
But yeah, so Riley Kugel, great player. They also have a really good transfer from Iona. Fresh, you're going to love this guy's game. Walter Clayton Jr. He's their best shooter on the
Yep.
team. He'll play a lot of point. 43% from three, 95% on free throws at Iona. And he had a good game to kick the year off. Tyrese Samuel, another big transfer out of Iona. He walked away from that program when Patino left. He is really good. Let's look at his stats. 15 points per game, 8 rebounds in their first game. They're good. The guy that I think that is going to be pivotal for Florida is a guy named Will Richards. He was top 5% in the country last year, offensive efficiency, 50% from the floor, over 40% from three, and he was 85% on free throws. That put him in the top 5 nationally.
Wow.
Didn't have a great first game, but very good. It's a tempo game, right? So who's going to control tempo? If they get out and run, we're going to struggle. They've got some athletes. They've got some bigs that can operate in the half court. It's a really good test for us. Really interesting to see what Tony's going to do on the starting lineup. He's talked a lot about guys, different lineups. We saw Groves start. Is he going to start against the big guy? Micah, 7-1? I don't know. Does Buchanan play a lot? What are your thoughts on who starts for us tonight?
I think you nailed it in terms of what's going to be most interesting, because Florida guys have already played in big time, kind of D1 situations. Blake from Idaho is not. He did just fine against Tarleton State, but that's the Charleston Chew. That's over. How's Blake going to do? Can the guy Micah get him up and pump fake him and he draws fouls? I think you might see more of Minor than you might think. Would have thought, due to experience and just physicality. And again, Groves, I think, is the.
Let's dig on Minor for a minute. There's Marky.
Mark
Jerome entering the broadcast. He is, I think, where are you? Outside in New York?
Exactly. I am, and on the Upper West Side, in the 60s, between Central Park West and Broadway, on a gorgeous New York City night. A little chilly, but not too bad.
Right up your alley.
It's certainly not. Florida has.
Yeah, we're getting that good Chamber of Commerce weather down here right now. Mark, we were talking about starting lineup.
I was listening. I could hear.
Okay, and Tony's talked about switching that up. Tony's talked about different players playing at different times, starting. Interesting that Minor had such a minor role in the Charleston Chew / Tarleton State game. Do we see more of him tonight? Physical, 6'8", strong, experienced? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I'm glad that there are times, and I know how you feel about TB and the staff being a little bit more flexible. This is a good contest. This is a great contest and a challenge for us. We all remember a couple years ago when Todd Golden, my boy from back in the day when he was at Columbia, was at San Francisco, and the big guys stepped out and shot three. They've got a couple of bigs that step out and shoot three. So how do you defend that, especially if they do some picking and popping and spread the offense? I don't know. We played Tarleton, right? We played a team that we beat by 30. I don't know what they were ranked coming in. I don't know if it was 300, 320. Whatever it was. This is Florida. Florida is ranked much higher, right? And they had some good contests. I heard they had a good scrimmage, if I'm not mistaken, against Miami. Played Miami really well.
They did, and they beat Loyola Maryland by 20. And the comments post game by the coach were like they were not happy, and they beat them pretty good.
Yeah. Yep.
This is a good test. You're right.
I think if let's assume they win the big man game down low. Let's assume that. I think what we have to do is play outside in, and that's why you're going to see a lot of Dante Harris tonight. You're going to see TB trusting him to pick up, keep the game away from the basket, negate that, and play it that way.
The other thing that will always remedy the down low game is we shot over 45% from three last game.
Yeah.
10 for 22.
I mean us on defense.
No, I got you. Was that typical of us? Are we going to do that? Is that going to be a normal standard, or was that like a night that was an exception, right? And if we can shoot 40% or 35 to 40%, I think we're going to be in every game, no matter how big we are and how big the other team is, right? Defensively, we talked to Jay last night, and Jay Willie, and he was really happy. Seeing for the first time, I don't think I've heard him say at the beginning of a season. I don't think I've ever heard him say how he was fairly impressed with his defense this early in the season.
Yeah.
It's a good sign. We've kind of gone through the Florida roster. One more note I want to make. No one from Virginia on the roster, so that makes us all happy. They do have 4 international players and 5 if you include the kid from Miami, which is kind of like a different country. So they are definitely, and Golden's embraced that. He inherited a few, but there are a lot. They have an international flavor. I think we've had that in the past. We really don't anymore. So something to keep an eye on. Those guys always scare me because they're always good shooters.
Well, I think tonight in that very arena, our guy Igor Miličić had at least a double-double, and that was midway through the first half, or midway through the game or so. So, hey, we can claim him.
Okay. All right. So you know what I want to see tonight? Like if Mark, go ahead. You had something to say.
No, Dougie brought up the arena, and I got a shot to the heart, and I got a smack in the face by the New York City wind. All of a sudden, as soon as Dougie said that Charlotte Arena, I don't think I've seen UVA. I don't think I've seen UVA win a game in the 4 times or 3 or 4 times I've been there, right? But I was just checking out the live looking that T-Dubs is providing. That's so awesome, T-Dubs.
Yeah, I love that.
It's great, and I'm trying to see how we're traveling, and hopefully we have a good fan base to support us.
You know who plays after us tonight are the Hokies.
Oh.
And so you're in Charlotte, and my first report back from the forum. I think from the forum alone of people who talk, we have about between 30 and 40 people definitely at the game, which means a lot more. But one person said there's a lot more Hokies there than there are Wahoos.
Now you got the New York City's wind smacking Habs in the face, Dougie.
All the way down to him.
Reaching all the way down, reaching his tentacles all the way down to Florida.
That's like the reverse jet stream.
Hey, this has been a good one. This game is exciting for me. I'm in Florida. I have a ton of friends who are Gators, football and basketball fans, and they've got a great baseball team as well. I'm getting a lot of the Florida press, a lot of the commentary from their fans, the media. They feel pretty good about their chances. It's kind of a pick'em game. I think the spread's like 1.5 points. But I thought to myself, wow, there's going to be a lot more Virginia people at this game than Florida, especially early in the season. They can drive there. But Florida media is saying it's a big game for them. A lot of people traveling. So it'll be interesting to check in with T-Dub, see what he thinks.
T-Dubs, you with us?
I don't think he's hearing us. Hey, but here's go ahead, Mark.
How far is it, Habs, at a drive, hour-wise? How long does it take to get from Gainesville to Charlotte?
Oh, it's long. I mean, it's like, I'm gonna get this wrong, but I'm gonna say it's probably a 10 to 12-hour drive, 10-hour drive.
From Gainesville? I thought it would be a lot closer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get that wrong. We need someone to fact check me on that. But
I'm gonna say it's 8. I'm gonna say it's equidistant between Charlottesville and Gainesville. I have no idea.
No.
I'm going to go against that, Dougie.
All right,
I'm going to go against that because you've got Georgia.
I'm going to Google it.
Right? You've got Northern Florida. You're in Northern Florida. You got Georgia, right? South Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina. That's where Charlotte's in South Carolina, basically.
It is
20 minutes from South Carolina because I have family from Rock Hill, so I know this. Carowinds.
Rock Hill.
All right, so it's about 7 hours. About 7.
I nailed it again. Again, Mark, I nailed it.
Well,
shooting 1,000,000%, Dougie, just like your free throws and your 3-ball.
all right,
I love
Fresh.
it.
One of the things I want to see, and I'm coming at you with this, I want to
Yep.
see Reese
Yep.
have a game where when he walks off the court, and not against Charlton State, or where he walks off the court and he has dominated the game, obviously defensively, but I'm talking about scoring the ball, distributing. Like, this is a big game. He's going against a couple guys that are, and definitely in Kugel, who is going to play in the NBA. So what do you want to see from him tonight? What do you think happens out there for?
I want to see the Reese that we know and love. I wanted to see him say, look, there's probably scouts at this game.
Definitely.
I've been through the combine. It appears that he took a lot of things from that, not necessarily the three-point shooting yet, but very calm, in control. Defense is still. I think he wears stickum when he plays. Like, he gets his hands on balls, and it's like Anthony Oliver and Cornell Parker had a baby.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? Anyhow, I want to see him just be in control of the game, hit the right guys. I think he did that in the game we watched, Charleston Chew.
Yep.
And I want him just to be above the game, like, I'm the All-American on this court. I don't care about anybody, anybody that I'm defending, who's guarding me, who I'm playing against. I'm the guy.
Marky, what about you? You're a guard. Like, you're always balancing distribution with your kind of making the right play, but you want to score. How do you think Reese is going to progress this year through that pathway to balancing, getting everyone involved, but also showcasing his skill?
If you look at his progression, and now you look at what he's against this year, or not what he's against, but his challenges and what his path has been, first year, second year, third year, playing with Kihei last year, and now he becomes the man. How does he handle that? Right? Does he really take ownership and leadership, and is he vocal? And Jay Willie was talking about how he's becoming more vocal on practice now. Does he look to take more shots? Does he look to be a little bit more aggressive? Does he look to take a few shots? We have a little bit of a conservative offense, right? Does he look to go outside? Does he look to be a little bit less conservative, right? Is he allowed to be less conservative? Is he allowed to have some more pick and rolls and take some shots early in the offense, right? It's going to be funding, and I'm very curious to watch. It's going to be fun for him. He talked about it. He was at the combine.
Yeah.
He was rubbing shoulders with the guys who are in the league now, or the guys that just missed. So with that experience and with that level of confidence, does he show out as, guess what, guys? I'm coming to the court. I'm the man, from both teams. Right. And how does he exhibit that? Is it through, as you asked, Habs? Is it through the combination of making assists, or is he looking to score right away? Is he looking to get to the basket? Is he looking to catch and shoot? Those are all questions that I'm sure all the scouts are looking at. And is he ready to make that jump?
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at TW. That's awesome that we have this live view.
Yeah, it really is.
It gets you so excited.
It is.
And now you're talking about Reese, and I'm saying it the way I wanted to say it. And I'm thinking about him going out in the court. He's been in JPJ a million times. He's been at Duke, has a game-winning shot. But like now, I'm in an NBA arena, which is what he wants to be, right? And guys like your son and Kyle Guy, all these guys, they go into these places and really want to put that show on. Let's be honest. You want to put on a show, all right? Enough with doing like what's right and what's good. Go put on a show, Reese.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see it fresh. When we were at Virginia, we played with Crotty, and Crotty, as a senior, obviously had Brian Stiff, who was so talented, and he needed to get them the ball, and we had other really good players. But there was also a part where Crotty was trying to make the NBA, and he had to score. He had to defend. There were times when I think we would maybe get a little bit out of sync because guys were trying to balance like what's good for the team, but also, hey, I've got to contribute here. It'll be interesting to watch this season how that progresses. By the way, I just got a text from one of the ushers. T-Dub has already had 2 different orders of nachos, a barbecue sandwich, and a large popcorn. since he's been there.
Has you just raised such a great point.
And I heard Forrest has already heckled 4 of the 5 referees, and including the substitute ref who's like not even on the floor yet.
So when I would watch college basketball years ago, and there would be one guy on the team on a pretty solid team, but he was certainly the main guy, and he would take the lion's share of the shots, and some of them were questionable, and you'd say, what is this guy doing? But in reality, that guy's probably trying to make the league. Versus, hey, I got to put my team in the best position to try to win. Well, guess what's at stake though? The NBA, where you're gonna, be able to possibly, I'm not sure at that time, but now you could possibly survive on 5, 6, 7 years salary, and have generational wealth that could last a long time. Well, I said generational wealth, right? Versus, hey, I gotta, right? Versus now, so, and thinking about that, and I would question that really good player for being selfish and saying, what's this guy doing? I don't like this guy. He's not going to be a good NBA player. And thinking about it differently over the last 10 years and watching guys and understanding the stakes of making the NBA and showing scouts and not, guess what? Okay, I want my team to win, but I also want to make the league. And then to make the league, I've got to show scouts that I can do this. I can shoot up the dribble going left. I can catch and shoot threes. I can defend. I can get to the basket. So I might have to be a little selfish. I see the world differently than I did 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
This is a make the league game, the way you put it, for a guy like Reese, right? This is people are there. It's it's a big time game. They're playing Florida, SEC, ACC. I mean, they're going to play Duke. We're going to play UNC. That's fine. But this is kind of one of those games. Like it's a bigger venue. It's more central. We just figured out it's equidistant between Charlottesville and Jacksonville and whatever town they're, Gainesville. So the logistics are in his favor. So I'm getting fired up, man. Bottom line.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting to watch that journey for Reese. I want to quickly go. We got a couple minutes here. Who's going to be, and I'm taking Reese off the board for this question, so you can't answer Reese. Who is going to be the guy, Fresh, that at the end of the game we say, wow, he played really well? We had it last game. I think everyone was, there were a lot of good performances last game. Who is the guy that walks off the court where the fan base, the locker room access crew, and we've got a bunch of people that are chiming in. They're chiming in with they're there, so everybody have a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Who's the guy who, other than Reese, who is going to open some eyes tonight on our roster?
I think nationally, I think IMAC could go off. It's an NBA arena. I think they're way better suited for shooting. I think it's actually rigged for shooters because NBA guys never miss a shot. I don't think it's because they're so good. It's just like they have metal things that bring the ball into the basket. I think IMAC is really pumped and wants to show he belongs on the national stage and can have more than just a 3-point shooting night. You jump better, right? I can touch the backboard in these arenas. Like legit, lay it up and touch the backboard. So I think IMAC should have a really good showing.
Who's going to open some eyes tonight, Mark, in your opinion, from our roster, ex-Reese?
It's a great question. There's some really good matchups. Both teams have dynamic players. UVA's got some great length this year. Got some good athleticism. We're going to be fighting a little bit of an uphill battle in terms of height. So I'm really curious to see how we defend or how we rebound. I think that you're going to have some of your bigger guys play some more minutes than maybe you might against another team. Maybe not. Maybe the length with Leon Bond and Ryan Dunn and I'm curious to see how Buchanan does if he's going to get that many minutes tonight. And if depending how well guys are playing, those are going to be the guys that TD sticks with. Some coaches, no matter what, stick with certain guys independent of how someone's performing.
Very
right?
True.
And some coaches go with guys if they're playing well or if they're leading the team. And if I've seen TB do this several times, guy plays a really good first half, they start the second half. He stays with the hot hand.
Never happened to me once.
That's
It's okay.
the Bobby Knight rule. Bobby Knight had some great first halves as a player at Ohio State and would never get to start the second half. So on his teams, by the way, rest in peace, Coach Knight. I know not everybody loved him. I had a personal relationship with him. He was tight with my dad. Lost a great coach. He did a lot of good things, but he instituted that rule where if you played well in the first half, you started. And I think that's motivating for players. I'm looking for Buchanan to have a little bit of not a full-blown coming out party, but I think they're going to have to put him on the Micah Handglotten kid at times.
Wow.
And have them go at it and see what happens. So I'm looking for Buchanan. That's my dark horse to come in and open some eyes. So
How far is Boise?
We got to go around the horn. Final score predictions. I'm going to write them down. Marky, lead us off.
66-63.
Oh.
Okay.
Good guys.
Yep.
Oh.
UVA. Mark, Fresh, who you got?
80-77. Good guys. Mark's going to be shit. By the way, Boise, Idaho, the drive to Charlotte, North Carolina for Blake's parents is 742 hours with the wind. With the wind.
Yes.
Hours or miles?
Hours.
You got to do it in kilometers because they're so close to Canada that it's almost kilometers. I'm going to go with I'm going to go low scoring. I'm more on Mark's. I'm going to say
Really?
67-62 UVA.
You were going to say Florida. I know you have.
No, if we had more people on here, I would go become the contrarian and go Florida, but we only got 3. So,
Hey,
all right, let's get to the game, guys. Fill it in.
Can I gotta end this up. We haven't talked about this. We lost a great.
So you're going to have to practice.
Real quickly, we lost a great friend, All-American lacrosse player Tommy Smith. I'm dedicating this season to him. 3-time All-American. He passed away November 2nd suddenly. I've been in contact with his former friends, great friends years have from the team.
Yep.
And I just want, everybody say a prayer and be appreciative of the life of Tommy Smith.
Yeah, great guy. Good point. I'm glad you stopped me.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad. He's a great guy. Big part of a lot of people's lives. So let's get one for Tommy tonight. Guys, join us at halftime. We'll be back, hopefully with the Who's in the lead. Thanks for joining Locker Room Access.
The Who's. By the way, I don't have a way to watch this game. I don't care. Are we live or no?
We're still live.
We're live.
All right, guys. I don't have a way to watch this game. Can somebody send me the link? I got my kids.